Dr. Praveen.
Yes. Good evening, respected chair, participants of the conference. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to present this paper. The title of my paper is Making Use of the Ancient Indian Aesthetic Theory called Dressa for Film Appreciation. It's a minor study because it was done in a very short spell, individually, without any funding of any kind. I'll briefly tell you something about film as directors, cinematographers, and the actors' craft, and perspectives of film, feminist and psychological, and of course, Rasa, the rationale for appreciation of film using Rasa, the method I employ, the limitations of my study, and implications of my study. Okay, further research. Now, we are all familiar with the film The Titanic, 1997. It's a US film directed by James Cameron. And we know it was directed by. Now, how is it a directors and actors and cinematographers' craft? Do you know this iconic scene? Actually, Titanic is a tragedy where many people died. But we think about these two couple, who they're not couple, they're lovers, they meet. And actually, in reality, such a thing can never happen because they're from two different classes. Okay, but in the film, they're supposed to seen as falling in love and so on. And look at the background. This is all the cinematographer's craft. So, the cinematographer's craft, the acting of these two people, the emotions they convey, together make it an art form. Okay. Now, this is Laura Mulvey. In the 1950s, she's a feminist film theorist, and she said that all Hollywood cinema reinforces patriarchal social codes. And not only that, she saw cinema as a kind of voyeuristic pleasure for the person who goes to see it. It is her observation. This is a typical feminist perspective. Now, there is a psychoanalytical or a psychological perspective. For them, spectators gain aesthetic pleasure, which is pathological sometimes, by gazing at film. And not only that, they say that cinema satisfies the primordial wish of human beings for pleasurable viewing. And that is why we go. This is their interpretation. Now, when you have two such theories, it is very difficult to analyze films. So that is why I thought of Dressa. Now, what is this Dressa? These are emotional flavors created in the mind. This, what you see are the 9 different Dressas performed through dance, through gestures, eye movements, and so on. It is based on the ancient Indian treatise of drama called Natya Shastra. Okay. To explain this, I'll take more time, so I'm moving on to my presentation. Now, if you see an object, that can evoke an emotion. When you see this, it is something about war. Natural situation can also evoke emotion, laughter in this case. Okay? If you see known actors, this is Charlie Chaplin. The moment you see Charlie Chaplin, a smile comes to your face. So an emotion is evoked. Similarly, the expression of actors. You see a mother and daughter, the son, he has some problem. He always daydreams. Time to go to school. The mother rushes him to school, you see. So all these are emotions expressed by the actor. We go there, watch, we enjoy it. Okay. So Rasa can be experienced individually and collectively also. Okay. Now, spectator. But the Rasa theory states that the spectator is also unique. Why? He is a sahurdaya, a person with a heart. He has the ability to identify with the subject matter. It's not passive viewing when you go. And not only that, he has polished himself by study and practice of the literary art. Only then you can truly appreciate. Those who have not really studied, and it's not possible. And finally, he responds to the subject sympathetically. So the Rasa theory also speaks about the sahurdaya, the person who goes to appreciate film. Okay, now what is my method? I'm using Rasa as a framework to appreciate films. I've taken 2 films, not the entire films. They're from 2 different cultures, 2 different languages, same emotion. I told you there are 9 Dressa. I'm looking only at one Dressa with the Shringara, which refers to love. Okay, so what I try to do is, how was Ressa evoked by the director? Through the performance of the actor, through the director's effort to portray the emotion and the actor's performance. The film I have chosen is Romeo and Juliet, the 1968 US film. Okay, and this, as you can see, is Juliet looking out of a window. This is Romeo looking at her eagerly. Okay, look at the feelings they are communicating. And he takes the risk to go and see her in her house. These are two warring families based on Shakespeare's play. But he goes there and he wears a mask and goes. So it's a risk lovers take to go. But she notices him and she knows what risk he is, the difficulty he is in. See how she communicates it through her eyes. And then they get an opportunity to talk to each other. And finally, they make a promise. You see how the adolescent mind works. All these are captured in the film. Not only that, you see, she is lovelorn. This typical expressions of love. She daydreams in her balcony, and the fellow, even he can't sleep. He comes in the night. He loses his sleep. He comes eagerly waiting, and he climbs up the tree. It is forbidden. He goes to the garden, sees her. See, he climbs up. She's scared. But then finally, they want to embrace. Quite natural. So these are how love is depicted there. It evokes emotion. We identify with these people, young lovers, those who have experienced or fallen in love know what I'm trying to speak about now. Okay, this is one typical film. And the director has fairly succeeded, and even the actors have succeeded in evoking that emotion in us. Now, there's another film which is Bombay in 1995. It's an Indian Tamil film. What is unique about it, this is a Hindu boy. He falls in love with a Muslim girl, but it is taboo in his own village. Such relationships are not encouraged. But then, she goes to her friend's house. Her friend's brother is this boy. See the eyes through which they communicate. They don't talk, but both of them fall in love. But it's forbidden, you see. So there is a dance sequence in one of her friends is getting married. She dances, but he boldly goes. But then, in public they cannot talk. People will get suspicious, but they are lovers. So see how the film director creates scenes, how they communicate through eyes and so on, evoke emotions. And perhaps the best thing is, he disguises himself, and this girl takes a boat to cross the river. So he disguises himself as a lady. And what does he do? He enters the boat. You see the risk people take to fall in love and share their emotions. But she is scared. See, her friends are nearby, but see, he is dressed. So the disguise and all that to help you understand, to capture the Rasa element in the film. Okay. So there are limitations for my study. Why I have selected only two films, select scenes only, and I focus only on one Dressa. It was the investigator's own choice, but there are 8 other Ressas to be explored. But this is a possibility, using Ressa as a framework for appreciating films. So what are my implications for future research? Rasa theory can be used even to study ballet performances, stage play. And not only that, the ability to evoke aesthetic sensibility and the effect it has on the spectator's general well-being. That can also be studied, you see. So there are immense possibilities for employing Dressa. Several others. This is my concept is just not new. I have applied, maybe I may be the first person to compare these two, but people have tried, but this has not taken place. I hope you will take an initiative after watching this presentation. These are select references only. My paper is ready. Today I'll be submitting it, so you can read my full paper if it gets published. So thank you all.